Now, in my opinion, Dreamville is arguably the best and most consistent label in hip hop right now, and this new Lute album only adds to that. What's up, YouTube? My name is Jason, and this is my take. And I'm back with another review, and today we're gonna be talking the new Lute album, Goldmouth. Lute is a Charlotte, North Carolina rapper, songwriter, coming out of Dreamville, and he's back with a new album. It's crazy because it's actually been 4 years since Lute dropped his debut project, West 1996 Part 2. And this is a project I thoroughly enjoyed, as Lute's smooth delivery over these chill, laid-back beats was something I just couldn't ignore. And I think that, when we think about Dreamville, we don't necessarily think about Lute first. But Lute is an artist to me who's super talented and can really hold his own with the others on this roster. So going into Goldmouth over here, I was expecting what I got from West 1996, and that's exactly what I got. This project is 13 songs, about 43 minutes, and it sees Lute over these chill, laid-back beats, talking about things such as his loneliness, as well as his work ethic in getting to this point now. This album has many highlights, and it gets started right from the jump with the song 100. And this song kicks off a very big pro for me on what I heard from Lute, and him doing more singing along with his rapping and kind of mixing the two. Lute really showed on this project how great of a voice he has. And the thing about this song 100 is I like when intros come in really nice, and it kind of feels like it could also be how the album ends. Like, this was an intro, but it also felt like an outro in the production and Lute's lyrical content and delivery. And ultimately on this, Lute is just talking about the grind, feeling accomplished, all the work that he's put in, but also the fact that there's still more work to do and that he's not done. I also really love the backup singers and the harmonies that they were providing over this song. It was really beautiful. A real head bopper on this album for me was the next song, JID, Gettin Every Dolla. One of the best instrumentals, in my opinion, on this project. One thing that really stuck out to me on this song was Lute's flow. I don't know how he wasn't running out of breath. His breath control on this was crazy. And the title says it all. Lute is grinding and hustling, with his pen and this rap game to make every single possible dollar that he can make. I really also enjoyed the song Myself featuring Devn. There was a funny line on there as well where he was mentioning Tyrese when he had that breakdown on IG Live, where he said, "Feeling like Tyrese, what more do you want from me?" I thought that was hilarious. And I thought, content-wise, this was an interesting song too, as Lute kind of dives into why he stays to himself. Because as he rose, in the rap game, being a Charlotte artist, getting discovered by Cole, as all this was happening, so many people around him changed, and that affected him. He didn't like it, and it made him have trust issues and not want to be around other people because he doesn't know what he's going to get from them. Another song I really enjoyed on here was the song Ghetto Love featuring Blakk Soul and Lennox, which, by the way, was a great pairing of R&B artists. I thought Lennox and Blakk Soul sounded great together over this more R&B-like track. Moment that I was not expecting at all, but was very exciting for me, was the song Amen, that features North Carolina rap legends Lil Brother. All right, and I got this album cover right here because, yes, Minstrel Show is a classic. I don't care if any of y'all ain't heard of it. Just trust me, okay? This was great to just see them team up. Phonte and rapper Big Pool, Little Brother, do their thing per usual. Great bars from the both of them. The hook on this was catchy too. I love the "Can I get an amen?" Amen. It was simple, but it was really catchy. Also, the production on this, the choir sample that's used on this, just made it even better. Made it more of a memorable track, in my opinion. Arguably my favorite track overall on this was the song Flossin featuring WESTSIDE Boogie. And I think this is perfect because while Lute sounded great on this, if I were to think of a beat that WESTSIDE Boogie would rap on, it would be this. So of course he killed it. And then Lute is rapping to the haters. I enjoyed, him lyrically on this, just talking about the fact that you're hating, but I work to get here. So worry about what you're doing and get into where you need to go, and stop wasting time just worrying about me. Another highlight for me on the tail end of this project was the song Life. I really enjoyed Lute. Lute was really singing on this, on the hook, and I really enjoyed that. And ultimately, like, as Lute reflects on his life and his come up and how crazy and difficult everything was, it's all about continuing to push and move forward and know that there are brighter days ahead. As we all know, that this life is challenging, it's crazy, you know, it breaks us down, but you know, the grind and then just continuing to work and believe and go for what you want, it turns into success later down the line. Now, this isn't a perfect album, okay? So I did want to point out a few cons on this album. And one that was surprising for me was the song Birdsong, which features JID and Saba, which was the track I was probably the most excited about besides Amen featuring Little Brother. And while I feel like Lute and Saba like sounded great and flowed well on this beat, my biggest issue was actually JID, who's one of my favorite rappers, period, right now. He had a very short hook to me that was underwhelming, and I didn't really like, you know, his singing and how it sounded on it, but, you know, he appeared twice with this very short little hook, and, you know, it would have been nice to get a verse from him, but JID was pretty underwhelming on this, and I don't think I've ever said that about anything I've heard from JID. I also do think that the album and the last two tracks of Overnight and Crashing, things kind of slowed down, and it kind of brought the album to a little bit of an underwhelming end. While I did enjoy the message in Overnight in terms of, you know, this whole thing being a process, none of this happens overnight, and just the work that you got to put in. I don't know, it felt, you know, like there was more that I felt like I wanted from this. Like, it felt a little too slow along with the outro Crashing, as I mentioned. So, you know, that was a little disappointing, just, you know, seeing how great that the album got off to in terms of a start. Like, the album started off great, but it didn't really end how it started, in my opinion. But overall, I enjoyed this new album from Lute. To me, this album felt low-key with very solid production that, to me, saw Lute rapping and singing very well. You know, like, this album didn't blow me away, but, you know, I thought it was a great effort, a solid project from Lute, and it hits home for me more, being that Lute is a North Carolina artist, me being born and raised in North Carolina. Like, I'm always rooting for anybody coming out of North Carolina. So, you know, Lute is continuing to do his thing, honestly. And, you know, like I said earlier, Lute doesn't really get talked about when you think of Dreamville. You think Cole, you think JID, Earth Gang, Boz, Lennox. We don't talk about Lute, and we need to be talking about him more. And so I'm just hoping that it's not another 4 years that we get a new project. So I'm gonna give this album a 7 out of 10. So what did you guys think about this new Lute album? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What were your favorite tracks? Let's have a conversation down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Got another video coming for you guys tomorrow that I think you'll like. So please like and subscribe to the channel. I'm Jason. This has been my take. See you next time.